My name is Jeremy McDonald, and did my presentation on effective communication through the high school athletes. Um, with effective coaching, I base it off six key terms. One being leadership, two, build your players, team management, decision making, learning skills, and creativity skills. And I did it because high school coaches don't have it usually the easiest. You don't get to hand pick your team as you do with collegiate sports. You usually just have to deal with the hand that's given, meaning the players that are in that district or some that transfer. You just have to coach for what you're given. Some have more talent than others. And being that high school coach, you have to try to mold these players to get to the next level, or because not all of them have that same talent. So you want to try to get them to get athletic capability as some may others, and overall just to be mold them as a person in general for everyday life. So first off, we'll start with leadership skills. As a coach, high school coaches are seen to be leaders for these athletes. They're more like role models and try to mold their players to be great to get to the next level. So being a coach requires to be a leader to your players. You also want to treat your players with respect. When coaches respect their players, it gives their athletes a totally different type of confidence. They would like to play for you. They give it way more harder than they do with coaches that just treat them like dirt or if they feel like they're replaceable. When as a coach or as an athlete myself, I like it when coaches tend to share their strategy with their players. So when a coach shares their vision and how they see the program and how they want their athletes to perform, it helps the players get into that same vision as you. It it also can boost their confidence and just you see what the same goal is. You understand what the task at hand is and you try it. You work hard to get to that task. And as a coach, it may be tough because you see your vision and others might not. But you just need to still just instruct with a positive manner. You need to be able to show these players that it's okay to fail. Failure is also just another sign of success because you can't succeed unless you fail. So you know what your bottom barrel is. So when your players do something good, let them know. And when they're struggling a little bit, explain what you want them to do and how do you want it done and what they're doing wrong. It'll help them respect you as more of a coach, and it'll make them easier. Um, when you instruct with confidence, athletes are more willing to work harder for you. You believe in the task at hand, and athletes don't tend to respect coaches that don't really believe what they're saying is true. They tend to work harder for coaches that believe in the drill and know the drill is going to make you better. So they're going to work harder. Building your players is another one of the tasks I have, and you want to get your athletes to reach athletic capability. You want them to be able to present themselves on and off the field that makes the program look good. Everyone's always like, oh, social media these days. You always got to watch what you post on social media because if you're an athlete that wants to be at the next level and you're in high school, you need to be able to just grow. You need to grow up fast because it's tough out there, and people that offer jobs and people that do um, athletics at the next level, it makes it tough because now everything they look on is social media. So if you can post something a little vulgar and that could be the reason why you don't go to the school you want to go to, it could be a reason why you don't get that job. It could be the way you dress sometimes and you don't portray yourself as a high class athlete and someone that's going to look good for the program. So as a coach, you want to be able to get your athletes to maximize their capable athletic ability. You want them to get to the next level. That's the ultimate goal as a high school coach. You want to lay the tools out to get your athlete to the next level because that's the ultimate goal. That can include weight room activity. You can get your players working hard in the weight room during the fall if you're baseball and spring sport, or in the summer if you're football, or you can etc. You can name any sport. Just the off season, you want their athletes in the weight room, getting stronger, getting quicker, and knowing more about the drills and sports just to get better as an athlete. It can do with field drills, doing field like footwork drills, or extra swings, or more bullpens as if you're a pitcher. It can be a numerous thing, and it's also big for a coach to teach those players how they act off the field. And the way they act off the field bases on how you act off the field as a coach. These athletes are young and they're in high school. They're gonna act how you act. So you need to show them. You can't just go to the bar, or you can just mess around and post things on social media and treat them like it's a party. You need to show them as a professional manner that how they need to act off the field really portrays bigly on how the program looks and how you look. Another one of the thing is team management. As a coach, you want these players just to see it's about the team. It's not about just you and how you perform. You want them to see that the team is above one individual. So as a coach, you need to show the team that it's more like a family. And as a coach, you're more considered as a parent than you are just a person coaching them the sport. So once you start to see that it's more about the team, how the team performs over just how you perform, then I believe that's how you would find the team to be successful. And it's kind of hard because you do have athletes that have more athletic capability, and they tend to believe that they're the reason that you win, or they don't need to do certain drills because they're too good for the team. And that's usually when teams fail, when teams don't act as a family and achieve the same goal in the same manner. You talk more about how everyone's trying to achieve the same goal, but they all try to achieve the same goal in a different light, and so it slows them down on getting there. And it takes time for teams to become successful. And if you stick to the process that's given by the coach, I believe that'll work out in the end. It's preparation, and it takes time. I mean, it's not going to be easy, especially as a high school athlete where all talent's different. It takes time and a little hard work. And if you're a coach that works hard and shows these players the drills and takes the time to let it develop, I believe that if they stay dedicated to the process, they make them successful. And overall, you as a coach makes the decisions. You need to be able to explain to your players that when you set the lineups, you set the lineup because you think that's what's best for the team during that game. You want to keep your players focused during the game because maybe just because you didn't play in that game doesn't mean they're not in use later in that game or in the next game the following day. You need to show them that it's just best for what's the team to win the game. That doesn't mean just because they're sitting on the bench doesn't mean that they have less athletic ability. It just may be, oh, so and so hits better the left-handed pitchers than you do, so he's just giving you more opportunity for the team to win. And during the game, you need to make sure that the players that aren't playing aren't moping or slouching around, because it makes it all look bad. Because what if you do need that player later in the game and he's not focused on the game and has no clue to what's going on? Then it makes it harder for you to win because the athlete's still upset because he wasn't starting. And a big one that I didn't really write down, but it's kind of like a hidden term. High school parents are brutal. A lot of them think that their player is the superstar, and should be playing every game. And it's as a coach, you want to try to stay away from that drama. You It's hard to explain, but you want to explain to them that you're just doing your job and helping the team win. Your child may not be in that light, but that doesn't mean he's not an aspect to the team. That doesn't mean he doesn't help the team to win or anything. It just high school parents are, to me, what slows the team down. And as a coach, I would tell my players that I don't want your parents getting involved with your sport. This is you as an adult, and if you want to be the next level, you need to be able to take it matters in your own hands, and just know that it happens. Sometimes you're not going to play every game, and your parents are going to get mad and they're going to get upset, but you need to explain. Sometimes you're sore, and it's usually when parents get involved, it's mostly because of the way that the athlete alone did not communicate to the child of the situation. It's less on the coach. Another big thing is with learning skills. You need to be able to communicate with your athletes. Having good communication skills as a coach really helps your athletes feel more comfortable during performance. Explain when they're doing something wrong. Don't just ignore them. That's a big thing. A lot of coaches nowadays, especially in high school and a lot in college, they just expect you to know what's going on. They expect you to know that um, you did something wrong and you need to know how to fix it instead of just no. You may have dropped your head. You may have dipped your shoulder. You may have not You may have strided too far on that last hurdle. It can be a numerous amount of things. You can put whatever you want in that scenario, but you as a coach need to help explain to them. Don't just be like, nope, you did it wrong. Put someone else in. It's it would just kills the confidence in athletes when they don't know what's going on. You need to teach them ways that they can get stronger mentally. Mental game is big in all sports. I struggle with it personally at times, and as coach helps me a lot. And once I feel like an athlete gets the game down mentally, he as a player gets stronger. And you, as a coach, you need to give them tips or ideas to make them stronger as an athlete, especially in high school. Um, if if the athlete wants to get better, yeah, you can show up. There's no rules in high school when it comes to how many hours you want to practice. If you want to practice as long as you want, go for it. If the athlete wants to get better and a couple of them want to go to the field uh, on a weekend, and feel free and always be available where you can throw BP and help them coach and do drills with them. There's never any harm of an athlete getting better. Another big thing is creativity. You need to understand as a coach in high school, all athletes learn differently. You need to be able to adapt to give your players ways they learn it best. Some athletes use visual aids to explain plays. Some you need to explain their philosophy in a different way. You need to have mental meetings, etc. You can put anything in there. Uh, and it's hard, especially as a high school coach. You tend to get in the same rhythm. Routine's big in practices and stuff like that. You want to get in a routine so your athletes know what's going on. But some coaches tend to get stuck in a routine, but they get stuck in a routine doing the same drills. And when you have high school athletes that already don't know how to focus that long, it makes it tough. It makes it tough in a way that they start to get bored and they try not to they work as hard. So it's good to change it up and keep your athletes learning. You want them to do different drills. Sometimes just do backhands and then do regular drills or different bump plays. You name it, and it just as long as it's not the same drill over and over again every single day, where it's just beating a dead horse, your athletes aren't going to want to get better. And you want to keep it fun and steady pace. Nobody wants a long, dreaded out practice. You want to keep it within time constraints. So say you're doing bunting for 10 minutes, or you're doing ground balls for 15 minutes. You want to keep it at a steady pace where they're not doing it for hours and hours at a time, because they're just going to get worse. They're going to do it for the 15 minutes. Once they get it down, then it's done. Move on to the next thing, and work on from there. The struggles that coaches go through are mostly with communication. They tend to say things they want, but fail to explain how the things need to be done. And I tend to believe that ways to solve that are through these 6 steps: leadership, building your players, team management, decision making, learning, and creativity. Coaching isn't an easy thing to do. And most of these athletes nowadays tend to see coaches as their role model. They tend to talk to them more than they do their parents. And I think that as a coach, you need to be able to communicate with your players. Show them when they're doing things wrong. Be there as a person and as a coach to help them get to the next level, and show them that you can be another parent to them, because that's what's big in their eyes.